I couldn't tell him, okay, this it's actually personal. I shouldn't make it personal. It's always about the fighters.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. And it still is about the fighters. I don't get in the ring to take punches or give punches. Mr. Usyk is fake. Exceptional boxer.
Yeah.
Masterful boxer. A genius of what he's done and what he can do. But he's a fake and he's a liar. And a cheat.
In what aspect?
And what is well
The
documented.
low blow.
Excuse me. Excuse me. He is a guy who says he's a God-fearing man. He's always crossing himself. People who, if you believe in the same God, this is going out to Usyk, if you believe in the same God that I and the world population, what we refer to as God, one of the 10 commandments, you cannot cheat. That's against one of the 10 commandments. So you can't, make your mind up, do you worship God or not? Because if you do, the cheating and the acting he did on when Daniel dropped him, he should win an Oscar for that, for the acting.
So regarding...
Do you think he was trying to get him disqualified?
Disqualified?
When he went down? When he went down, do you think he was trying to get
I don't think disqualification was in his mind. The man was gone. He was gone. I know what I saw live. I didn't know replays. I know what I saw live. The man was able to act and cheat his way back
Categorically, it wasn't a low blow for you then?
Come on, man. I've said in many interviews. No, hell no.
So you've just mentioned, obviously, the opportunity to have another go.
Yeah,
Oleksandr Usyk is something...
If that presents itself, our focus is not on that. No, it's not. Yeah? Our focus is not on meeting Oleksandr Usyk.
It's on Daniel.
Should that materialize, I dare him, Usyk, to get in the ring with Daniel Dubois.
What I just played for you there is a recent clip from a TalkSport interview that they did with Don Charles. Now, Don Charles, obviously, in the wake of Daniel Dubois' win over Anthony Joshua, Don Charles has been interviewed by several people. He's been interviewed by Box Nation with Umar. That was a particularly good interview. I enjoyed listening to that interview, and it gave a good insight into Don Charles. Don Charles is a very emotional character. I mean, you can see it in how he's got a lot of passion. And he clearly does care a lot about his fighters. But Don Charles has always been a trainer who's got a lot of criticism. He's got a lot of criticism. Some of it you may feel is warranted, some you may feel isn't. But Don Charles is really biting back now against the critics. You know, he said that he's produced 5 British champions at 5 different weights, European champions, Commonwealth champions. And yeah, he's worked with some good fighters. He's worked with fighters who've done well at the domestic scene. Derek Chisora was never able to pick up a version of a world title, but he does now have a fighter in Daniel Dubois who is heavyweight champion, IBF heavyweight champion. He's been able to do wonders with Daniel Dubois, really. And you can tell in the interview with, I always said TalkSport, I hope I didn't say IFL, TalkSport, you can tell in that interview, you can see his passion, but you can tell he's not best pleased with people picking against Daniel Dubois to beat Anthony Joshua, for Anthony Joshua to beat him. He was saying that 97% were picking Anthony Joshua. Now, I know he was overwhelming favourite, but even I don't think it was quite that much. But he definitely had... Adam Catterall and Gareth A. Davis were doing the interview, and Catterall was fine. Catterall would only kind of jive in now and again, but Adam Catterall seems to be someone that doesn't have that much of an issue with. But he definitely wasn't complimentary, let's just say, with Gareth A. Davis. And... Gareth A. Davis, I had to laugh because Gareth A. Davis picked Anthony Joshua to beat Daniel Dubois. There's nothing wrong with that. Many others picked Anthony Joshua to beat him. We hold our hands up, we got that prediction wrong. But Don Charles really wasn't letting Gareth A. Davis off the hook with that. And I love the fact that Gareth A. Davis tries to go, well, everything I pick, I don't pick on the heart. I pick upon, stats and analysts. No, you don't. This guy thinks that Tyson Fury is Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, and Lennox Lewis all rolled into one. This guy, he said, I pick Tyson. I'll always pick with the, I never pick with the heart, except when it comes to Tyson Fury, Gareth A. Davis. In which case, then, Mr. Universe, a 20-foot monster could come out with boxing gloves. You still pick Tyson Fury. He'll dance around him. He's fantastic, Tyson. It's amazing Tyson. Oh my God, he's so amazing. He breathed on me once. I had to go into the bathroom. I'm saying too much. That's Gareth A. Davis for you. That's Gareth A. Davis. But the interesting part of this interview was when they brought up Daniel Dubois potentially having a crack at the winner of Fury versus Usyk, but obviously Oleksandr Usyk's name was the one on most people's minds. And Don Charles is not best pleased with Oleksandr Usyk, to say the least. Now, I got the impression when I watched the Box Nation interview that he gave with Umar, there's a lot of animosity there towards Oleksandr Usyk, a lot. Because Don Charles is of the belief that Tyson Fury was walking the fight and that he just, a bit like what Johnny, not quite those words, or not Johnny, it's a bit like what Dominic Ingle said, that he was walking the fight but just let Usyk back into it. Ingle was saying Tyson Fury was gassed, he wasn't in shape. It was neither of them. If you go and look at the fight, it's a comprehensive Oleksandr Usyk win. When you don't like someone, you are going to look and hyper focus, and you're going to be like, oh, I'm giving that round to Tyson Fury. He just, in your mind, you're like, well, he's done a little bit better there, so I'm giving him that, we'll give him that round. So he's of the belief Tyson Fury beats Oleksandr Usyk in the rematch. Now again, I would say there's a more likely chance of Fury beating Usyk than Joshua beating Dubois in a rematch. But I think with Don Charles, it's coming from a place of anger, because he feels hard done by for what happened over there in Poland. And then he brought Oleksandr Usyk's fate into it and saying that you're fake. You're fake in your love. You're fake in your sincerity. You portray yourself as you're a Christian and you bless yourself. Listen, Oleksandr Usyk is one of the most devout Christians I've ever seen. You see people, look at, need I say anymore, Tyson Fury, someone who portrays himself as a good Christian. And Don Charles wanted to bring up the 10 Commandments, well, you shall not bear false witness. Yes, that's why he was using that against Oleksandr Usyk. Well, look no further than Tyson Fury. And he's referring to the low blow, which was ruled a low blow. Oleksandr Usyk had the 5 minutes. He was accusing Oleksandr Usyk of cheating and saying that, that goes against that. Well, Don Charles, you do need to remember that Daniel Dubois, you'll see there on screen, in several interviews was talking about fighting dirty and was saying that he would do whatever is necessary by any means to win that fight. He was headbutting against Filip Hrgovic. The head was a bit reckless early on against Anthony Joshua. There was a low blow in there against Anthony Joshua as well, when Dubois actually could have ended the fight a little bit earlier. But that's A-okay. Don Charles is a very emotional guy. And he's obviously going to say that his fighter won the fight, or should have won the fight, and he should have been champion. And what I would always say is, even if that referee, was it Lewis Pabon who was the referee? I can't remember. But even if the referee had have administered a count to Oleksandr Usyk, because boxing fans will say, and especially the Fury fans, people that will say, like, oh, he was down for ages, he would never have got back up, this, that, and the other. Listen, when a referee rules it instantly, that's a low blow, and he's not administering a count. Oleksandr Usyk at that point, who is hurt, obviously he's been hit, below the belt. He's obviously, Dubois is a big puncher, ask Anthony Joshua. Oleksandr Usyk was obviously hurt. He knows he has the comfort of having time. He knows that he's able to say, okay, look, I've got all this time, I'm not going to get straight back up. If the referee on the other hand had administered a count, who's to say he wouldn't have just forced those legs to work and got back up, and look, he was able to adjust after. It's all this, if the referee, but if is a very, very big word in boxing. If the referee had administered a count, you don't know, Oleksandr Usyk might have got back up, and then what? Then where's your excuse for the fight? So I think Don Charles in this interview, he's not best pleased with Oleksandr Usyk. And at the end of the day, right, it was the referee's decision. The referee was the one. How many times have we seen a fighter complain that shot was low, and the referee has said, no, keep fighting. It was the referee's decision to rule that a low blow. I don't think Daniel Dubois did himself any favours by claiming he'll win by any means necessary, because if you are a fighter and you're going into a fight and you're refereeing it, and right, this fighter was saying he could get dirty, I'll keep my eye on that. When the chance comes and something is maybe borderline questionable, you as a referee, you have the notion in your head that, oh yeah, well, he was saying he was gonna fight a little bit dirty. Yeah, we'll rule that. I think Don Charles, as I said, is very emotional character. He comes across as very likeable, I have to say, Don Charles. He really does in these interviews. Comes across as a very likeable man. But I think with this one, I think this is where he's let those emotions, that occasion get to him a little bit, and it's clouding his judgment. Like, he is giving Usyk credit that Usyk's a very good fighter, which he is. But Usyk is one of those fighters or one of those people in general, if you're a rare breed, who truly believes in his fate. And I don't think anyone can ever question that. I think with Oleksandr Usyk, he is a man of his fate. And you could argue, I know some people don't like that, you know, with Oleksandr Usyk, I always get the impression that without that fight, God knows if he would have been able to do what he's been able to do, because it's almost like he has the will, just that his own will is very strong, but just knowing that he's a man of faith, knowing that, okay, you hear him when he was interviewed by, I think was it Boxing King Media or Boxing News, when he was on about skiing, and they were like, "Are you afraid?" "No, I say a prayer, I'll be okay." He has that's a different mindset altogether. And that's a mindset that's done Oleksandr Usyk well. Like, he goes into every situation. I think maybe that's why he's always so cool. He just believes in his faith. So when he goes like skiing and stuff like that, or "Are you afraid?" No, I'll say a prayer and I'll be okay. And you can tell he believes that. You can tell 100% he believes that. So Oleksandr Usyk is as devout as you would ever want to see. 100%. That, there's no doubt in that. There are people out there, I'm not even talking about boxers, there's people out there who will use faith in a sense of they will claim to be religious, they'll claim to believe in their faith, and their actions are the complete opposite. You know, you have people out there who will, you know, wear a cross and they're like, "Oh, everything I am to God," and they have so much hate in their hearts. They're horrible people, and you're like, what? You're devout, but you appear to have just nothing but, you know, venom running through your veins. How does that make sense? With Oleksandr Usyk, I believe that he genuinely believes it. So, yeah, bit of an interesting one there by Don Charles. I'd recommend you have a listen to the interview on TalkSport. I recommend you have a listen to it. It's on their YouTube channel. Let me know your thoughts. Oleksandr Usyk is fake, according to Don Charles. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I hope you liked the video, people. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe, as always, if you haven't already. Peace.